OutSystems Mobile Theme Customizer demo. So let's try to customize our application to a real application that exists in the real world. Now, our application, again, is the to-do application from training that I have here, which has this blue, heather, and gray and white as the base colors for most of its screens. And I'm going to try to adapt this to the well-known Wunderlist, or Wunderlist if you prefer, which exists on Apple and Android stores. And actually, Wunderlist, if you go over to their website, has this logo, but the background from their screens adapts to background images that you can select. So we're going to just use these colors as they are shown here on the iTunes previewer for this application, but we could use other colors as Wunderlist can adapt to them. Most of the times Wunderlist will use this kind of green as its main color. And as you can see, this grayed beige maybe color for the background. So from these screens, the most representative screen is perhaps this one here. So I should take this screen here as well as the logo images to try and replicate them in my application. Now I've done this previously, and I'm going to start using my theme customizer to adapt my application to this look and feel. So I'm going to start by uploading the logo. And I have the logo here. And now what Theme Customizer does is adjust and infer most of the colors from the logo. However, in this case, I don't want these colors. I want different colors for the primary, secondary, and background color. So the background color seems very similar, but we're going to take the exact colors from the application. And in order to do that, like I said, we'll take this sample screen here, which I have recorded previously, and I have it here on this side. This is the sample screen. So I'm going to take my cursor over here, and you can see that the RGB for this color is 64A581. So we're going to use this in our theme customizer. So this is the secondary color, which is the color for the background of the header, and I'm going to use this and write 6485, and it's not a 1. 64A581. 64A581. And now the header looks just like the color that was being used here in Wunderlist. Well, how about the main color? The main color seems to be blue. And in this case, as you can see from the hexadecimal values here, it's 247DB4. This is the primary color in Theme Customizer, 247DB4. So let's use that. 247DB4. And now our primary color is the blue as taken from that application. And how about the background? Well, we can see it's F1, F1, F0. So let's do that. F1, F1, F0. I'm going to just make the first one uppercase as well, for consistency's sake. And there we go. Now our application uses pretty much the same colors as they're being used by Wunderlist. So what else can we adjust? Well, we can adjust, of course, the login screen. Let's see now. Login screen currently shows our logo and it says Mobile Style Guide. Let's adjust this to the name of our application. Let's show advanced options. And our application is Wonderful To Do. And now our login screen says Wonderful To Do, which is good. And now we're going to change this color here maybe to some greenish color. Let's see if it looks good with the red logo. These are very light. Let's use a darker one. Maybe. Let's try and use a background image instead. Let's take a look at blurred images. Okay, now this one is actually better because it mimics the rest of the look and feel of the application. When you enter the application, you have this green thing here, and in the login, therefore, I have the green on the main body of the login screen. So I guess I'm going to use this color instead. It's much closer to what I want, and it's blurred. This makes it easier for me to read the text that's underneath, that's over the background image. So I'm going to use this image here. Now let's start with this one, and I'm just going to keep Silk default for now. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to generate the theme, and it's been copied to the clipboard, so I got it. I go over to my application, go over to the to-do style, double click here. Now, if you remember from our course, the first style here is actually important. It's an additional style that we need for our application. So I'm going to select everything from this point downwards to delete it. Delete, and now paste. And let's go back up, and there we go. We have our entire style applied, and now it's green, like everything else that we saw in Wunderlist. Let's double click here, and this screen is also adapted. Double click here. This screen is also adapted. How about this screen here? Looks pretty good. Okay, this save is the main color, which is fine, and these are normal greens, reds, and yellows. And finally, the main to-do screen. So some notes, some things that were not perfect. One of them was data management. The color of these buttons doesn't quite match this shade of green. This one is way too bright. This red doesn't match the logo too much. It isn't too bad, but this one's really glaring because you have the green here, and this green is really off. And the dashboard, actually, it looked fine, but it had this white background here, which doesn't seem quite match. And we're going to see that this is actually not so much of a problem. Let's first of all try to publish this and run it to see how it looks on the actual device emulator. Let's run it. And maximize. Okay, it's now been updated, which is good. And as you can see, we now have the new header with the green here. We have the list of to-dos on the dashboard. This is very interesting. The background actually fades away. So it adapts to whichever background we've selected. And even its main colors adapt to our main colors. These blues are not because the charts are actually using blue always. No, they're using the color that we tell them to. So in the previewer, you're seeing the preview always with these colors, with a white background with blues. But don't worry, all chart Silk UI widgets actually adapt to whatever you specify on your theme when you run your application. So this is actually fine. So new to do should also be fine, which looks really good. Categories is also fine. And data, however, because these buttons are very close to this color, they kind of don't match. That's basically what it is. This green is much too green compared to this one. So let's try and make this change. What if we wanted to change this? As we've seen, Theme Customizer did not change the color, the base color for these buttons. So what do we do? It's very simple. Let's go over to that screen, which is data management. And we can see here, when you click on these buttons, that they're using specific style classes. Button Danger for the red one, and Button Success for the green one. So those are the classes we want to change. So I'm just going to change this one here, copy, and I'm going to go over to my Silky UI mobile customizer, and I want this green to be the same green as I specify here on my secondary color. So I'm going to do that in a custom component CSS. So this is the style, and I'm pasting this here, button success. It needs to have a period at the beginning. I'm going to say that the background color is, I can say red, for instance, because this is going to be changed. I'm going to place a comment here, and I'm going to say this is the primary color. As soon as I close the comment, no spaces, sorry, I had to remove that space. As soon as I close the comment, Theme Customizer changed my red color to the exact RGB value for the primary color. Now, if I generate my theme again and use it here, let's go back and delete all of this and paste it. This should be kept as is. Because it should be kept as is, you should probably copy over to this location here. And that's how you do it. So you keep this code around so that every time you come back to Theme Customizer, it always includes your custom code. And now when I hit OK, I've used actually the wrong color. So I don't want the primary, I want the secondary color, of course. So let's go to secondary. And it has changed this already to 6.4. And now I just generate, got it. And in the to-do, double click. Now select all, paste. OK. And now I have the right shade of green. And of course, this will be reflected on the actual emulator. And if I go back here and refresh this one, it's been updated. And I go to data, I have the proper shade of green. Now there's one final thing. If I hover here, you can see that there's a warning that says there's a URL there that cannot be cached, is not cached for offline usage. So in my style, I have an image, which is the login image, which is right here, which, because it's an external URL, won't be cached in my application. So how do I make this work? Well, to make this work, you go over to the browser, you paste the URL that you have there. It loaded the image onto the download folder. And now I just need to use that directly as an image here. So I have some images here. I'm going to import a new image. I'm going to import it from my downloads folder. And I want a splash image. So this is my splash image, which is the logo. This is the runtime path. I just copy all this, copy, and I use it in my style sheet. So I just come over here and paste it, and this now becomes a local reference. And that's it. Now my application will work offline. If I do this to all images, there were more images here that have external references. I have another one here for login screens as well. That's it for the mobile theme customizer demo.